Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Waters Above. It's the 4th of July over there in the United States. So the stock market is closed today and the crypto market is getting all the attention. And I'll actually be connecting with the Bearable Bull later today for a round 3 podcast over on his channel. It's been almost a half a year since we first spoke, so there's a lot to catch up on, and I'm really looking forward to reconnecting with his community. So stay tuned over on his channel for when he uploads that. And if you haven't heard, just a couple of days ago, I released my newest decode titled FedNow Decoded, which is part 3 in my 2023 Jubilee series, following up on my last release titled World Reserve Decoded. This new presentation is over an hour long, packed with gems exposing all the key information you need to know about this new FedNow service, which is set to go live later this month. I expose the truth of how this will all go down, and of course how it will affect the crypto market and the economy as a whole. And I also get around to answering the most frequently asked questions that I received while preparing this decode. So it's very comprehensive and definitely prepares us for what's to come with this new FedNow service officially launching. And this new presentation and all my past decodes and exclusive content, including my weekly Red Pill podcast, is available for supporters of the Mastermind community membership over at patreon.com/watersabove. And I have an even bigger update for everyone. From now until July 7th, the 7/7 date, I'm running a flash sale on my website for all of my courses. This is actually the first time I've ran a sale since last Black Friday over a half a year ago. So for anyone who's interested in my courses and wants to take advantage of this sale, you can go over to my website, watersabove.com/July. And you could use this promo code at checkout. It's 4July7. That's the number 4, July, all lowercase, and the number 7. And this will honor a 20% off discount for your entire order, whether you're interested in one of the courses or packaging a couple together. This promo code is active to honor your entire order. And all of my courses are a one-time payment for lifetime access, so you can go through the materials at your own pace, no matter what your schedule is. And depending on where you are in your journey, I have my beginner Mastermind course right here. It's called the Crypto Mastermind, which teaches you everything you need to know about how to become an investor so you can build a foundation for acquiring generational wealth. You'll learn everything from how to build a portfolio, how to read the charts, and become proficient in technical analysis. And this course even includes my full exit strategy blueprint if you're interested in my strategies for de-risking and taking profits along the way. And by the time you finish this course, you'll effectively be a self-reliant investor. And I also have my latest course I released, the Expansion Mastermind. This is for those who are interested more in what I discuss during my weekly live streams, and this covers everything from mindset, how to stay focused in a world full of distractions, and even health and wellness lessons. Covers everything from how to properly detoxify the body so you can achieve optimal health, reduce inflammation, lose weight, get better quality sleep, which overall supports your well-being so that you can be even more effective at what you focus your attention on, and you can invest your attention and time and energy into serving your purpose. You could consider this my digital coaching course where I coach you through each course lesson and give you accountability tasks to keep you accountable along the way. And I've received so many emails and messages from my supporters who have both of these courses, and it's been incredible to hear how it's impacted their life since. Really makes my day to hear how someone was able to get better sleep or lose weight or even just get some extra time back to spend on what matters most, because now they have the strategies to avoid getting distracted and can focus now better than ever. I've had at least 50 people who even started their first business after taking these courses. So the crypto and expansion mastermind go hand in hand if you're looking to package together these educational materials. So They are really user-friendly. I designed them so that you could actually take them together, especially since my website will save wherever you left off in the course lessons, and it even includes a progress bar telling you how much of the course you've completed. So again, this sale will be live until July 7th. It's active now, and the links and important information will be below in the description of this video or in the pinned comment below. And for anyone who invests in my courses, I'm so grateful for all your support. It really, really means the world to me. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious beings to help grow our community. And with that being said, let's take the clear pill. So, since my last video, Bitcoin has officially broken above 31,000, and it's broken above the April 14th highs, which solidifies my theory I've been sharing for the past 3 to 4 months about my expectation of Bitcoin surpassing the highs of April, even after the solar eclipse that happened on April 20th, which was a key event I covered many times in my videos, podcasts, and even interviews as we led into that time frame, and here we are. The theory had everything to do with something called a solar cycle, which is a 2.5-year cycle followed into a lunar cycle. When Bitcoin is in its so-called bear markets, is in a lunar cycle, and we effectively left that time frame as of the solar eclipse on April 20th. We have 2 iterations of this that's very noticeable that goes back to 2019, and as well as the cycle prior to that, back in this 2014 through 2016. Now, I've been talking about how I've been feeling that this 2015 through 16 cycle is more kind of what I've been focusing on, putting most of my attention into regarding the analysis, not as much the 2019 cycle. The reason for that, and it's been something I've been vocal about for about probably 1.5 years now, has everything to do with the 7-year cycle called the Shemitah. So the last time we had a Shemitah was back here, and we did not have one during at all in this cycle of 2018 into 2019. So this is kind of the method to my madness, and I believe what we're watching right now is more like what happened in 2015 to 2016 rather than here, where you can see that this dotted line was the start of the solar cycle. So it was 2.5 years of solar cycle from July 2019 all the way over to actually this moment right here of May 2021. And if you remember, in this time frame right here, it was the finality of what we called alt season. Even though Bitcoin went on to make a slightly new all-time high, a majority of the altcoins topped out into March, April of 2021, and then lost, 90 to 95% of their value since. Now, getting back to this theory, looking at the way that the solar cycle started back in 2019, Bitcoin rose perfectly into that solar eclipse, and then it actually went into a downtrend confirmed by this bigger dump into the C19 crash, and then we recovered since after the halving event, which was right there around May 2020. Now, back in this cycle here, we actually had the start of the solar cycle, and then Bitcoin proceeded to continue higher afterwards. So this is kind of why I feel we've been mimicking more of what's gone on in this cycle rather than the one over here. So getting back to this, we have watched Bitcoin recover to these levels and gotten slightly higher than the April 14th highs. Although Bitcoin is stalling out at this 31,000 level, this is definitely a time to pay attention for the next big move in the market. So I believe this upcoming Friday, the 7th, is definitely an interesting date. It could be perceived as the 777 date because 2 + 2 + 3 in the year 2023 adds up to 7. Therefore, you have 7s across the board. And when we connect this to March 19th, it is 119 days apart. Now, the significance of March 10th, obviously, because it was the Silicon Valley Bank failure, and this was a key event in our economy, kind of starting the fall of the dominoes into what could be a future banking collapse. And you're all probably aware of this. So connecting these two dates by 119 days is significant. Okay, because this 119 code is the mirror of 9/11, a very important number to consider as it's been ritualized during the Shemitah back in 2001, which was right after the dot-com bubble popped. So that dot-com bubble is akin to kind of what we're dealing with here today in crypto and blockchain. I'm not saying that it is that case for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and the ISO 222 tokens, and perhaps some other good actors, or I wouldn't call them good, but you know what I'm saying, the blue chips. We do have a massive shitcoin market that needs to get wiped out, and I've talked about that on my first podcast with the Bearable Bull, and we're probably gonna go over some of those things later today. So getting back to that, we must keep this 9/11 code in mind, and big reason why is because September 11th this year, it lands on a very important date, which is the day leaving 111 days in the year. And remember how 2 months ago, I actually created a video titled The 2023 Titanic Ritual. Some of you might remember this. I released this here on YouTube. You could go back and watch it now if you'd like. And just a couple weeks ago, we had the Ocean Gate Titan submersible ritual, exactly around the same time of the summer solstice. Now, if you look a couple videos back, you're going to see a video titled XRP is Waking Up. It was uploaded about 3 months ago. And I made this thumbnail having the May Queen from the movie Midsummer on purpose. It was all tied to that decode I released 3 months before it happened on the world stage. And Midsummer is, of course, the summer solstice, June 20th. It was around the time I released my last video. So how did we know that there would be a Titanic ritual tied to this year and exactly around that time? Well, I share this decoding strategy in pretty much every video I release here, and I went even deeper into it in part 1 and 2 of that 2023 Jubilee Decoded series I have over on Patreon. It's mind-blowing how precise this all was. And of course, I updated you all earlier on how I have part 3 available now when we focus on this new FedNow service being a part of this big puzzle. So, just to recap, the reason I knew that this would be a ritual tied to this specific event had everything to do with the number 111. So, this year was the 111th anniversary of the Titanic sinking, and I just told you moments ago that September 11th lands on the day leaving 111 days in the year, and this 9/11, it will be the 22nd anniversary of this ritual. You could see right here, 22 years apart. This 22 is the master builder, master destroyer number. That 22 also ties back in Gematria for the word Ukraine. And this is where I make the system very comprehensive, and you could see the strategy. Ukraine equaling 22 in Chaldean, as well as 79 in English ordinal. 79 is the 22nd prime number. So you get 22 no matter how you chop this up. 79 is also tied back to gold, and I've talked about this a lot. So this 9/11 ritual back in 2001, of course, it was all about a war narrative, and I'm pretty sure some of you remember during the year of the tiger back in 2022 when Facebook changed over to Meta and had that metaverse commercial with the tiger in the painting. And then in the Super Bowl, it was the Rams against the Bengals, the Bengal Tigers, and the Bengals lost. Facebook stock plunged and experienced its biggest crash yet, and then Russia invades Ukraine. You see the setup here? So I shared how this is all connected, and I see the Los Angeles Rams color symbolism being tied to the Ukraine symbolism symbolically, and this means that this war will go just like that Super Bowl did. I know it sounds wild, but you're seeing we're able to determine this just like we did with the Titanic and what happened with that Titan submersible. So back in that Super Bowl of 2022, the Rams were losing the entire game until a comeback victory at the very end. So this upcoming 9/11 being that 22-year anniversary, all tied to that code and the war narrative still in play, I wouldn't be surprised if we see something tied to the Balkan nations and a ritual there that includes this Ukraine and Russia conflict as part of this story. And I shared a little bit about this theory of the Balkan nations on the last YouTube video I released, so definitely go check that out if you haven't already. It's this video right here. And by the way, I titled that video not as clickbait. That video is packed full of gems, and it is literally shocking. If you're a crypto investor and you don't know what's going on in this video, it is literally shocking material. There is no clickbait on this channel. It is all gnosis. So I hope you guys see now the method to the madness, and I want to tie another thing to all of this, and it has to do with this September 11th date being within the same week as Rosh Hashanah, the Hebrew New Year, this year, which is September 15th through 17th, and this will officially be the end of Jubilee. That's a 50-year cycle, so I believe they will end it with a bang, just like they ended the Shemitah of 2001 with a bang, with 9/11. And what makes me confident about this is if you take from our next solar eclipse, speaking of eclipses as we were earlier, and you tie this 2023 solar eclipse on October 14th to 9/11 of this year, it is 33 days apart. Another master number, the master number of transmutation, turning lead into gold alchemically, and this has to do more with metaphysics, not physically. So our big key dates I just want you to write this down. I'm giving you directly the numbers here. We're not beating around the bush at all. This is direct. I need you to write this stuff down. The big key dates this year are September 11th because of what I just shared. Then we have September 15th through 17th for Rosh Hashanah, of course, the end of Jubilee. Then we have that October 14th solar eclipse. They love to ritualize eclipses, and a little bit of a closer event would be August 30th and August 31st. Again, watch my last video here on YouTube if you want more details on what I see happening on that date. In the meantime, we're kind of in this wild card month of July. We have the next FOMC meeting on July 25th through July 26th. And according to the Federal Reserve, this new FedNow service launches in, quote, late July. There is no specific date yet or even a tentative date. So I wouldn't be surprised if it launches right around this meeting. Some people speculate July 20th, but again, that is not confirmed just yet by the Federal Reserve System. So until we hear it from the horse's mouth, it's all theoretical. But with this market looking very bullish across the board, to me, this is all just a setup for what I've been calling for a very long time, and that is a bull trap, followed by a larger correction into September and October, and that correction can be noticeable by August. So I've been very vocal about there being at least one more leg up for the crypto market between now and then, specifically for Bitcoin and XRP. So let's pivot over to the charts and see the setup for today in preparation for the stock market opening back up after this holiday break. And before we get into the TA, just go ahead and give this video a like if you haven't already. Spread some love in the comment section. That's what we're all about here. Now, we're going to be going over to the Bitcoin chart. Couple things to mention here. We have a couple of patterns. We have this key trend line, which has been a support since the beginning of the year, going on about 7 months now. And after the third touch of this trend line, it is now confirmed. So we're going to leave that on our chart. Key thing that has happened recently is we had this prior bull flag concept, and we kept it in mind. Perhaps this could be in play, and if we were to bring it to this last touch all the way at the lows, this brings us somewhere into directly at the 618 fib. If I was to reset this chart, you'd see where the fib is pulled. It is from the 69,000 all-time high down to the swing low in November. And this is on a logarithmic scale, and the fib setting is adjusted to have this ticked off, which is fib levels based on log scale. It's important you realize that nuance. Okay, so this bull flag, if we were to pull the entire length of it, it sets us right into the bottom of the golden pocket, the 618. That's a very technical level. And for Bitcoin, in every single iteration of automatic rally, it tends to actually hit the top of the 786, the top of the golden pocket, excuse me. I'm not entirely sure if that is at play unless a substantial amount of money comes into this crypto market. Who knows? But at this time, I'm playing it conservative, as I always do. I think it's important we stay more conservative, especially because we watch the sentiment in this market shift 360 degrees. I mean, it's like been the wildest time from everything negative in the news over the past, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And it's really just started to be the complete opposite in the price. And I used that term 360 a moment ago on purpose because it kind of is just showing you how ridiculous it all is. It doesn't even follow any, it's like La La Land. And I believe you've all been following the work enough now to see how just easy it is to manipulate retail investors. And here we've been very calm, composed, month after month, just letting it all play out, not getting, emotional at any of these dips along the way. And now you can see why it pays off to treat it that way. You got to remove your emotions from this game. Look at the charts, zoom out, don't get caught up in the theater. Don't get caught up in the bread and circus, right? So we have this larger macro play, I suppose, on this bull flag hitting us into around 39K. I'm going to delete that. And then recently we did have a shorter term pattern here, and it would be somewhat of a micro bull flag. We have started to pop out of that range. We'll see how it goes. Nonetheless, a pull on that sends us into around right here at 35,000. Now, this is a good time to pivot over to the CME chart because we were just talking about this level of 35,000. And here you can see clear, we have a CME gap up here at 35,180. So that gap would effectively be filled if the CME, Bitcoin CME futures gets into about 35.2. With premium and all the other things going on, consider that will adjust differently from spot. So this is really obvious to me that it's a setup, fill this top gap, and then who knows where it could go from there. But when Bitcoin gets bullish, it tends to have a pretty nice rise in response to that. So I'm just going to show you real quick. When we back tested the prior resistance as a new support, we had a nice little jump up, and that was about 23% off of that level. So if I was to consider right here was our resistance that we back tested, somewhere around 30,000 flat, which is just a clean psychological level. About 20% up into this range is looking at about 36 to 37,000. That to me makes a lot of sense. I have this red line drawn across the board as my key level to be really precise. And it does have to do with the way that Bitcoin interacts with that 37,000 to 38,000 point. There is some volume up there, some trading range. And if you see where I have the red line, that was the big break right there that confirmed that Bitcoin was moving into a bearish trend. Right here, when we were unable to hold the support of 37, we broke down, rejected, and then continued on a larger downtrend into the end of 2022. So it's natural to gravitate back up to those levels, and getting rejected off that level would not be surprising to me because as Bitcoin grows in market cap, it should have less of a bullish momentum in these automatic rally phases. The same is when it's in its buying climax phases, and also when it's in its selling climax phases, or when it's going into its finality of its corrections. I hope this all makes sense, but if it doesn't, again, I basically teach this Wyckoff method thoroughly within my Crypto Mastermind course. Anyone who has the course can comment below and say that learning the Wyckoff method has helped immensely, especially in the foundation of your education, because the Wyckoff method is like the market compass. Basically, I could pull up any chart and I could figure out exactly where I am without worrying about any of the other noise in the background. This allows you to navigate where you are, while most people, when they're pulling up charts, they're lost. So that's why I teach Wyckoff method, and it's been a game changer in the way I analyze. It's really helped me to predict pivots in the market, extreme pivots in the market, months before they happen. So getting back to this, the key levels for Bitcoin right now is getting up to this 0.5 fib. That's a technical level. Somewhere around 32,700 to 33,000 should be our next leg up. Now, if Bitcoin fails that level, we could entertain the bottom support of this right here, somewhere into about 29,000 on the lows. But right now, Bitcoin's looking a lot more bullish, and we've effectively backtested the highs and closed this last green candle yesterday bullish while the stock market was open. So we're looking good. We should be on momentum up to this 0.5 fib. There's a lot more confidence going in that direction. And if we cannot hold that correction at 29, test at the 382 fib is in the cards. Now, again, I'm not entertaining that as much as I am a push up. So I'm bullish at this time. I do think Bitcoin has a chance to fill that upper CME gap at 35,000. It's kind of what I'm anticipating from now until about the new moon of this month. And that new moon coming in around July 17th is a perfect amount of time to anticipate that push up. Now, I'm actually going to be skipping over Ethereum. I could just say some final notes, but it's not too much to talk about. Ethereum has essentially hit its automatic rally target at the 0.5 fib. If it is to push a little bit higher, it just needs to do what Bitcoin has already done, which is break the April highs. So just consider what Bitcoin has done recently has also taken dominance away from the alt market, and that's why it's higher now, whilst ETH is kind of sluggish. Bitcoin tends to rally, gain dominance, and then once it's topped out, it'll send over that liquidity, flood it into ERC20s, and then rinse, repeat. So in the meantime, it just needs to catch up to Bitcoin. And if it can break out another leg higher, it would be really nice to see a 2,300 ETH. For me, that's my high target. It has everything to do with this particular year being the year 2023 and the Hebrew year of 5783, which adds up to 23. And we're in the year of the Jubilee, which adds up to 23. That number is very key. This whole market, fiat money and blockchain, crypto, money created out of thin air, all ran by Mercury. Mercury equals 23. It would be interesting to see Ethereum hit that 23 in this year particularly. So that's about all I could say on ETH. Let's go over to XRP. I am, really not much to say because we have yet to really break out above that 54-cent key level that I keep sharing. I have this yellow line across here. For me, that is the line that we need to see XRP break above. And until it gets above 60 cents, it is not in an automatic rally just yet. So the play-by-play here is Bitcoin has solidified momentum into the automatic rally, and now it's entering its final stages. Ethereum has already completed its automatic rally. It can go higher, of course, if Bitcoin does, but it doesn't necessarily have to. And as for XRP, as long as we're below the 382 macro fib, we are not in automatic rally yet. Now, the difference between the 382 and the 0.5 fib is usually an explosive move. So right now it's clear that we're kind of just squeezing in this pattern. This could potentially be the pattern to consider, somewhat of a symmetrical triangle. Definitely confirmed triangle because we have data going all the way back to like the start of April. So keep this in mind, and I will be updating a little bit deeper in the interview podcast that I do with Bearable Bull over on his channel. I'm not sure if that's going to be released just yet today. It's up to his team and of course up to him. But for me, it's still that key level of 54 cents on the upside, holding a 2-day, 3-day candle above, pushing up to 60 and solidifying closes above that level. And then as of now, we have this trend line right here, which is holding as a nice support. Multiple backtests on the 236 is healthy, but if we were to start closing below that, lights out, it would be sent down to the 30s again. So I would really like to see some bullish momentum for XRP, as all of us would, but for now we have to pay attention to the technicals. We have to see what's forming in the charts, and we've made it already 80% through this apex, and we're coming pretty close. Apex ending about the same time as our monthly close. That would mean that sometime this month we could see a bullish breakout for XRP. into the 60-cent territory. And the measured move off of all of this takes you to about the mid 70 cents. And I still think that that 83-cent target for XRP is in the cards this year. So I'm going to leave it at that. Again, I appreciate all of your support. I hope you enjoyed today's video, packed full of information, all the levels to consider. Again, I have this sale going on my website until July 7th. It's at watersabove.com/July, and all the information will be in the description and the promo code. Please make sure leave a comment below on any of your experiences with my courses. It would be great to see how it's gone for you. Again, so grateful for all of your support and wishing you an amazing rest of your day in the Matrix. Much love.